$9 for popcorn feels less like a snack and more like a dare. The kernels cost very little. The bucket is paper, and you already paid for the movie, so why does the theatre risk annoying you before the trailers even begin? Because the screen may bring you through the door, but the snack counter helps turn your visit into a viable business. And once we follow the money from one ticket and one bucket of popcorn, the price starts to look less like a random markup and more like the architecture of the entire theatre. Imagine buying a ticket for $10.52. That was Cinemark's average ticket price in 2025. The theatre collects the payment, but it does not simply keep the whole amount. The movie is licensed from a distributor, and the theatre pays film rental costs tied to its admissions revenue. The exact terms vary by movie, studio, market, and week. Blockbusters can be especially expensive. Across 2025, Cinemark reported film rental and advertising costs equal to 58% of admissions revenue. AMC reported film exhibition costs equal to 51.2% of admissions revenue. So, in a simplified $10 ticket example, roughly $5 may be committed to getting the film onto the screen before paying the people who clean the auditorium, run the projector, cool the building, maintain the seats, or cover the rent. This does not mean tickets are worthless. Admissions remain the largest revenue stream for major theatre chains. But ticket revenue arrives with a large cost attached to the movie itself. Then you walk to the concession counter. And the math changes. AMC reported $1.67 billion of food and beverage revenue in 2025. The reported cost of that food and beverage was 18.1% of the category's revenue. Compare that with film exhibition costs consuming more than half of admissions revenue. The difference is the reason theatres obsess over the counter. The menu, the bundles, the display cases, the collectible buckets, and the employee asking whether you want to make it a large. This is category-level company data, not a claim that every popcorn bucket has an identical margin. A dine-in meal costs more to prepare than popcorn. Candy, soda, coffee, and alcohol all have different economics, but the pattern is unmistakable. After direct product costs, a much larger share of food and beverage revenue remains available to help cover the building and the experience. At AMC in 2025, food and beverage spending reached $8.57 per patron. At Cinemark, concession revenue per patron reached $8.30. That is remarkably close to the price of another ticket. One customer is not just one seat. That customer can be an admission, a drink, a snack, an online fee, a loyalty relationship, and perhaps a collectible bucket sold at a premium. The theatre is not running one transaction. It is stacking several transactions around one visit. There is an obvious alternative. Make the movie ticket much more expensive and sell cheaper popcorn. But that creates two problems. First, a higher ticket price can discourage people before they enter. The theatre needs enough customers to fill screenings, create atmosphere, and generate all the other spending inside the building. Second, additional admissions revenue is still subject to the theatre's film rental agreement. Raising concession revenue can be more valuable because the economics are different. It also allows customers to separate themselves into groups. One person buys only a ticket, another buys popcorn and soda, a third chooses premium seats, a large format screen, dinner, and a souvenir bucket. Economists call one version of this metering price discrimination. Keep access comparatively affordable, then earn more from customers whose behavior signals they value the experience more. Research using data from a Spanish theatre chain found that high concession prices could support lower admission prices than theatres might otherwise charge. That does not make $9 popcorn feel cheap. It means the person skipping the snack counter may be receiving part of the benefit. The popcorn buyer is voluntarily spending more, while the ticket-only customer can still see the film. Theatres also face a problem most restaurants do not. They cannot manufacture their own blockbuster whenever business is slow. Their attendance depends on the release calendar, the studios, and whether audiences care about the films available that week. In its 2025 filing, AMC compared a North American box office of $8.9 billion with $11.4 billion in 2019. When fewer people arrive, the theatre does not simply shrink to match demand. It still has large auditoriums, long leases, utilities, equipment and staff. That is why theatre companies keep trying to extract more value from each visit. Premium screens raise the ticket price. Recliners make the trip feel different from watching at home. Loyalty programs encourage repeat visits. Online ordering reduces the friction of buying concessions. Alcohol, dine-in menus, and branded merchandise expand what the building can sell. AMC's other theatre revenue now includes advertising, ticketing fees, auditorium rentals, retail popcorn, merchandise, loyalty income, credit card revenue, and distribution activity. The modern movie theatre is no longer only a room that rents films by the seat. It is becoming a platform for monetizing a few hours of your attention. This is also why concession menus are designed around more than hunger. The smell of popcorn reaches you before the price does. The counter is placed on the route to the auditorium. Bundles turn separate decisions into one. Larger sizes make the middle option feel less attractive. Collectible containers turn food into merchandise. None of those techniques are unique to theatres. Restaurants, stadiums, and theme parks use many of the same ideas. But theatres have a special advantage. Once the movie starts, you are staying for 2 or 3 hours. The snack becomes part of the ritual. For some viewers, popcorn is not a product competing with grocery store popcorn. It is part of what going to the movies means. That emotional attachment changes what people are willing to pay, and it explains why theatres are willing to discount the snack in strategic ways. Loyalty members may get refills or special prices. Subscription plans may include concession benefits. Promotions can increase visits or spending without permanently lowering the menu price for everyone. The objective is not to sell the cheapest corn, it is to increase the value of the entire customer visit. So, does the movie theatre need your $9 popcorn? Not literally every bucket, and not every customer. Major chains still collect more admissions revenue than concession revenue. But the underlying economics are real. Ticket revenue must help pay for the film. Concession revenue carries a far smaller direct product cost, and both still have to support the expensive physical operations surrounding them. The movie attracts the audience. The concession counter helps monetize the audience. Premium formats, advertising, subscriptions, and merchandise extend the same system. The surprising business is not that theatres sell overpriced popcorn. It is that the movie theatre is actually a bundle of businesses hiding behind one screen. The next time a cashier asks whether you want to make it a large, you are not hearing a random upsell. You are hearing the business model.